What's going on, guys? This is Remy with Level 1, and I'm here to bring you a video on something that I like to do pretty often in my apartment, and which is to have like an entire kind of movie theater setup. I not only do everything from the popcorn machine to the giant screen with the seating and everything, but I also have a whole atmosphere going with digital movie posters and everything else. So have you ever wanted one of those like movie frames that you see in the theater, one of those now showings, coming soon? If you ever looked around websites like Etsy and eBay, you'll see that those run you up a pretty decent amount. They run up anywhere between 100 to 150, but it really starts at 150 for just a base level that can be deemed pretty good. With that came the idea for me to do something like this myself, and there are other alternatives of which to do that, which I want to show you guys. A few ways in which you can actually definitely do this is to create your own, and you could do this with everything from a somewhat cheap TV that you end up rotating, or one of those frames like murals. So I'll show you a couple of different options, but I'll show you how to kind of actually do the frame yourself. One of the big things I'll explain off the bat is that the one that I'm currently using that you notice in this video is something that I created, which I did in Elements in Photoshop and stuff. Basically tracing, being able to design, since I am a designer myself, and giving you that real aesthetic with everything that you see on the bottom, which involves the movie credits and everything else. So, you know, if we end up getting a certain amount of likes and views to this video, I'll actually find a way to release the one that I created. I'll try to provide also a link of one that I'm going to give you a demo of here for sure too, but definitely like and subscribe, and we'll get that stuff out to you, as I want to do more of these kinds of things in the future. So what you're going to want to do first is try to look for some sort of frame or frame that you can base it off of. You know, there are a lot of paid options, so if you have that luxury, then you can look through everything like Adobe Stock and iStock to be able to find something that's like a now showing frame or now showing template, which that would be your search. From there, you'll be able to kind of see, you know, different options from there. But if you're looking for something free, especially something to start you out with, then look at websites like vecteasy.com, which I'll put a link to this. I'll put a link in the description below, which will let you find one of these free sort of templates that have like a now showing and a coming soon sort of frame. From there, you're gonna definitely want to take it into Photoshop to be able to cut the middle so that you can start your process of being able to put a poster in it. And just to let you know, the one that I used for that in this example, I actually edited a bit myself since it looked like a little too narrow. So I'll still look to provide that as a link. The next thing you're going to want to do is look for your movie posters that you'd want to put on there, whether you're setting things up in folders or just wanting to have certain posters that you'd want to show while you're watching a movie. There are definitely a couple of sites that give you that option, and there are actually a lot of, you know, mainly paid sites that you would need to do that, but there are some sites in particular that are free. One of my favorites is impawards.com. I'll put that in the description. It's one of those sites that I think I've used nearly from the beginning to find not only different kinds of movie posters, but different movie posters from different regions. So it actually lets you do different options, and I've gone as far as like editing different posters together to give me a different kind of look. Also, it's kind of cool when, you know, people are over watching a movie with me in this aesthetic and they're looking at posters that they possibly never seen or in an orientation they never seen. So there's definitely a lot of different things you can do with this, and for those that have noticed in the video, there is some motion that's coming out of these frames. I'll show you a way of how you can also do that too. That's a little bit more extensive, so that might need its own video, but I'll definitely let you know what that looks like. All right, what you're going to want to do is grab the now showing frame that you've either purchased from one of these stock image places, or the ones that you grab from free, or any of the ones that I provided onto Photoshop. And from there, you're going to want to see if the layer in the center is transparent. If it is, then the work from here is pretty easy. You're going to be able to just plop your movie poster from there. If not, you're going to definitely want to like cut out the center in full, and then that's going to give you the space that you need to put your own movie poster. Like I said before, I edited this slightly. It was a smaller box, so I was able to like kind of stretch this out a bit and make it longer. So what I have here is also a little drop shadow that I created within it, so that when you plop the movie poster in it, there's kind of a little bit of a depth showing. But this is sort of where I'm going to go with this. You want to make sure that you have the designated size that you want. This screen size will end up being a 4K screen size, so that it can adjust itself from there. But I think a 1920 by 1080 will suit people most fine, especially when you're looking for movie posters, since there are a lot of movie posters that don't exceed 1080p. But the IMP site, the IMP award site, definitely has some options there, so you're gonna definitely want to look into that. So from there, you're gonna be able to plop your movie poster right in the center. So I was able to do that with minimal cropping. As you can see, like if I put this layer in the front, then it's going right off the edge of that screen, so that it cuts off a little bit, off like as a bleed, and there is my edge. So from here, I have a pretty well established movie poster look that I can start to put onto any sort of frame, device, or anything else. So the way that I end up doing it is that I will put it on something like on my iPhone or an iOS device, and I'll have like an Apple TV Plus hooked up to a television that I kind of set up on an articulating arm sideways. And this gives me that aesthetic that it's like if it's a 1920 by 1080p TV, then I'm vertically putting it into a 1080 by 1920 sort of size, which is like an actual picture frame size. So from there, I'm able to just kind of throw the image there from AirPlay, and boom, I'm done. The other option that you have, which is something that I am personally leaning towards myself, is something like a mural display, which is essentially for anything from pictures to works of art and paint, since the frame and the screen material gives it a look of which something came from, like if it was like paint and stuff. But it gives you so many versatility and options. I've done everything from putting NFTs up, which I'll be putting a video out for that, but then also I'm able to put stuff like a movie poster on it. And so when I have something like a movie night, I kind of just push the movie posters that I want, put them in a little section, and they'll sort of rotate on themselves as fast or as slow as I want, which is a pretty awesome option, and it gives like a really cool look to the whole thing. Plus among that, obviously the LED lights that I have. But with that, I have technically 3 screens: a 55-inch 4K TV that I have vertically on an articulating arm that shows these kinds of posters. I have a smaller TV on another side, and then I have the mural Canvas 2. So the Canvas 2 will run you up a little bit much higher than that, versus the other options, since the other TVs were anywhere between $100 to $200 on a good deal, and the mural's around like $350, $400 depending on the screen size. You know, you have options, but obviously the mural does way more, and it has its own sort of library with that as well. Alright, lastly, I'm going to show you how I end up doing things like, you know, movie animated posters, motion posters, and stuff like that, and I'm able to retrofit that. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but basically what I like to do is look for motion posters easily on YouTube. This actually wasn't crazy an option when I was doing things like this before, a few years ago, but you're able to do anything from like the Batman motion poster, and just look for that, and boom, you have that right there. This is the motion poster that I'm using technically. There are a few others. You're going to want to make sure that the size is there exactly how that's supposed to be, and from there you're going to want to try to use something to actually let you download the video. I'm not going to give you that option, but or tell you how that actually works, but I'm sure most people can figure that out. From there, that's when I take it into a video editing program. So then I'll take the frame that I made into Photoshop. I'll bring it into something like Premiere, and from there I will layer the actual the image of the now showing, which this is the one obviously that I said I currently use, with the actual motion poster itself, so that you see that it's actually in motion and stuff like that. So Pretty awesome. From there, I'll just export that into the designated size, whether I want that to be 1080 by 1920. Remember, it's inversed, or a 4K size with the inverse itself. And then from there, you could put that again onto like a mural, or you'll be able to push that on AirPlay, you know, in any sort of like album sort of setting that you want, onto the device that's connected to an Apple TV. So those are the various options of which to do a now showing sort of movie theater-esque look, and especially that's something that I love to do. And I'll be providing more videos, you know, kind of giving you these options with different screens and giving you like a movie theater experience, especially like the popcorn maker and everything else. But let me know in the comments below what kind of video you'd like to see, and if this video actually helped you out, and if this is something that you'd like to see more of in the future. Definitely like and subscribe to our page for more info, more reviews, and more like video content in between like that. This is Remy with Level 1. I'll catch you guys later.